has. So in this section, it's a very quick section. We're going to talk about proportions. And then throughout the chapter, we're going to apply proportions to triangles. And we're going to learn about what we call similar triangles and look at some proportionalities within triangles and so on. Let's remind ourselves what a ratio is. A ratio is a comparison of two quantities, and it's using division. So because it's the same quantity that is being compared, what we can do is, if you want to say the ratio of A to B, this is how you read it. You can either write it as a fraction A over B, or using a colon A to B, right? And B should not be 0 because then you wouldn't be able to divide by it. Now, a ratio where the denominator is 1 is called a unit ratio, okay? Now, whenever you write a ratio, you should always remember that the first thing you have to do is reduce your ratio. You can never leave a ratio in unreduced form. So never 3 over 6. It's always 1 over 2. Okay? Ratios must always be reduced. All right. Now here, it says the ratio of football players to high schools in Montgomery County is 546 to 26. So that's the ratio of football players to high schools, right? And the ratio is given in the same order as is expressed in words. So if football players is first, that means that first number is players, and the second number is schools. What is the ratio of football players to high schools written as a unit ratio? If we want a unit ratio, it means we want the denominator to be 1. So first you write your ratio. You say 546 over 26. Okay? And now you're going to divide. So you get 21 to 1. Okay? So that means it's 21 football players per high school. All right. Now, let's go and put this in the context of geometry.
For the one above, do you want us to write it out every single time? Like once we get an answer, can we leave it like 21 to 1 or 21 football players per high school?
It really depends on the context of the problem. For ones like that, you should write it out. Most of the time, we're going to be using triangles, so it'll be self-explanatory. Okay. All right? Okay, so here it says in a triangle, the ratio of the measures of 3 sides is 4 to 6 to 9, and its perimeter is 190 inches. Find the measures of the 3 sides of the triangle. Now, in math, when you're given a ratio 4 to 6 to 9, you then have to translate that into algebra. So 4 to 6 to 9 gets translated to 4x, 6x, 9x. Okay? And now those become the 3 sides of your triangle. So it's 4x, 6x, 9x. Once you've set that up, you know that you've got your perimeter of 190. Perimeter means add all the sides, set it equal to 190. This is 19x equal to 190. X is equal to 10. And if you want to find the measures of the 3 sides, then you have to remember to include units. So the sides are 40 inches, 60 inches, 90 inches. All right? Okay, So the ratio of the measures of 3 angles of a triangle is 2 to 3 to 5. Same situation. Now it says to find the measures of the angles. All right, so let's draw our triangle. And we have, oh no, I forgot something. Sorry. 2x, 3x, 5x. Now, what can I add those up to? 180. So it'll be 2x plus 3x, that's 5x, plus another 5x is 180. So 10x is 180. X is equal to 18. That means my angles are 2x, which is 36 degrees, 3x, which is 54 degrees, and 5x, 90 degrees. Hey, it's a right triangle. Okay? Now, if you take two ratios which are equal to each other, okay? And if you take the two equal ratios and you set them equal to each other, you've created a proportion. So a proportion is just an equation stating that two ratios are equal. That's it. Like in this one, okay? 2 over 3 is equal to 6 over 9, which they are, right? 6 over 9 is 2/3, okay? Now, whenever you write a ratio, what you create are two cross products, okay? The first one here is called the extremes, all right? And they're the extremes because like it's the first and the last, right? Because it starts with 2 over 3 equals 6 over 9. The 2 and the 9 are the ones on the outer edge if you start reading this proportion, right? Those are the extremes. The ones in the inside, if you read the proportion, 2 over 3 equals 6 over 9. So the ones on the inside are the means. So you've got your means and your extremes. So these are the extremes, and the other ones are the means. Oh, blue on blue doesn't show up. Did you guys know that? I'm just figuring this out. All right. Okay. So basically, whenever you have a ratio, you cross multiply. That's what we mean by this. Okay. Now, property of proportions. Here we go. It just says the same thing. Equality of cross products. If you have A over B equals C over D, then AD equals BC. So same thing all over again. You can cross multiply. All right. So let's solve this like that. Okay? When you cross multiply, what you have are the extremes, 3 times 75 equal to the means, 5x. So that's 225 equal to 5x. And what's x equal to? 45. All right? So what about this one? What do we do here? Right, cross multiply. 2 times 3x minus 5 is equal to 4 times negative 13. So this is 6x minus 10 equal to negative 52. And x is negative 7. Okay? Now, another cool thing about proportions is you can simplify, you can reduce this way, and you can reduce this way. So you can reduce horizontally and vertically, right? That means if it was possible, you could have reduced the 4 and the 7, but you know what? You could reduce the 4 and the 6, okay? So what can you divide 4 and 6 by? 2, so you get a 2 here and a 3 there. So now what you have is negative 2 over 7 equals 3 over 2x plus 5. And you can cross multiply after this. So you get negative 2 times 2x plus 5 equals 21. Negative 4x minus 10 equals 21. Negative 4x equals 31, right? And x is equal to negative 31 over 4. Now, is it necessary to do this first step before you cross multiply? No. Okay, if you hadn't done that, then here you would have gotten, negative 8x equals 62, and it would have gotten you the same answer. All right? It's just a possibility. All right, so here, let's cross multiply. 6 times 4x minus 5 equals 3 times negative 26. You can, but I'm skipping that step this time. 24x minus 30 is negative 78. 24x equals negative 48, so x is equal to negative 2. All right, and that is section 1. So this homework will be due after the test, okay?